This is me saying something funny. Hello and welcome to REKT Podcast. I am Bunchu, and we are back alongside my esteemed colleague and co-host Crypto Chamber. Chamber, it's been a while.
It has been a while. It's been like, has it been over a week since we've chatted? It
has. I think the last one we did was last Thursday. Right?
And it's mid-morning on Friday. And yeah.
Oh, wait, I lied. I think we missed Thursday. We missed Tuesday.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we did like a Monday show, didn't we?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's like the longest we've gone without a show, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, thank goodness.
And there are people that listen because I got a few messages asking, what the hell, why is there no show?
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it.
One is my buddy that listens that is the concealed carry.
Oh, right. Yes, our armed and dangerous friend.
Yes. Shout out to Elliot.
Elliot.
He texted me. He's like, "Why the hell isn't there a show today?"
That's sorry. Jeez. Okay. All right. I will be more prompt. That's on me. I do not.
No, totally on me. I think this one because I had a 4:00 meeting I got out of in Worcester, Massachusetts, and then had a 6-hour drive home. So,
jeez.
Yeah,
Did everybody else fly to this meeting?
Yeah, and there's no really good way for me to fly. So, like, there's no way that, like, you either fly to Boston from where I am, or you fly to Hartford. But it doesn't even make sense for me to fly there because it's still an hour and a half from the airport. So it's like it was brutal. But
yeah,
anyway.
That does sound brutal.
Anyway, yeah. So that's it. But we are back, and we are as mediocre as ever.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been a long. It feels like just 2 weeks. That
we were just saying it's been a freaking long couple weeks. I'm feeling a little burnt out myself. Maybe getting a little sick. We'll see.
I also am feeling a little under the weather. I did some traveling, but. The times, I mean, there was not much of a time zone difference. There was, but not very much.
It's just an hour, right?
Just an hour. But I actually heard an interesting statistic while I was away about daylight savings. And I have no proof to back this up. It's just what an expert said out loud during one of my meetings. And I wrote it down and I thought it was interesting. And they said during, like when we fall back, so the days we fall back, where we gain that hour of sleep, the following day, there's apparently roughly about 20% less heart attacks the following day. And then in spring forward, so in the spring when we lose that hour, there's roughly about 20% more heart attacks because people aren't sleeping as much. So even just that 1 hour of sleep can mess you the fuck up. So here we are.
Wow, yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, so I because we gained the hour, I really pushed the envelope. I was doing mainlining heroin. Exactly.
I'm glad we were both going the same space. I mean, hold on here. Let's back up. So you were doing some traveling.
Yeah.
And you went to Nashville, aka Nash Vegas, which means that we get Chamber in America.
Yeah. How? Yeah, no, it was okay. I have some thoughts on Nashville. First off, probably in the best way possible, probably the most American city I've ever been to. In the best way possible. It was the food was terrific. A plus. we've talked about music and our love of music, and I knew going to Nashville that the music was going to be amazing. It was probably 100 times better than I was even
really. Wow.
Yeah. Like I was anticipating A+ music, and it was just like it blew out the doors for expectations. For those of you who haven't been, like we're talking, it's a pretty small area as far as like kind of that main, the heart
Broadway,
of Nashville.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you can kind of walk around, like, and we were all over the place within that kind of maybe a 8 block by 8 block radius.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? North, south, east, west. And the coolest thing is you can kind of hook up your Lyft or your Uber app to these little scooters and just scooter around downtown.
Were you a bird guy or a lime guy?
The lime ones were the most popular ones, I think. Those are the ones I saw the most. But yeah, no, that was cool. But yeah, so for those of you that have never been there before, it's literally like every block has 10, bars, honky tonks on either side. So it's probably 20 per block, and every bar has live music playing. So you basically take 4 steps at all times. So you're taking, 3 steps, you're in front of one bar and you're hearing wonderful music. You take 3 more steps, you can kind of hear the last one, but now you're 90% you're hearing the next bar, and everybody's amazing. I think the coolest thing is we were down this kind of a little off the beaten path, not on Broadway, just off, I would say maybe north of Broadway, down this little alley where it's kind of lit up with Christmas lights, and we were in this, don't quote me on this, but I think we were on the Bourbon Street bar, or something like that. And it was kind of like this bluesy back alley bar. It was very cool. And, we were having some drinks there, and you could make requests and, and all that fun stuff. And they were doing a good job. But what you could also do is sign up to play a different instrument or actually sing. Mm-hmm. And I was there with, one of my...
you can tip them and they'll let you sing.
Right. So...
Yep. I love doing that.
You would be. That would make a lot of sense because you're what I like to call an A- singer.
Thank you.
Very, very high quality. And so yeah, you could do this. And so the band's up there, and I'm like, I'm interested to see how this is going to kind of roll out. Where will the person be able to pick the song that they want to play? Like, say if I wanted to play guitar and I want to play a particular song, will they know the song? Do I play with them? So I kind of wanted to see what was rolling out. And the band kind of stops at one point and it takes a break, and the lead singer starts calling up about 5 or 6 different people. And I realized that, they're not playing with the band. They're actually making a band out of these random people that have signed up.
That's cool.
And I'm like, this is going to be fucking awful. And I happen to be, prior to this, I was outside having a drink and a smoke, and I was chatting up some guy that was from Memphis, and we were shooting the shit about, about Nashville and that in that area. And sure enough, he pops up, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, "Hey, Memphis, what are you doing up on stage?" And he grabs a guitar, and I'm I'm kind of in the front bar, right as close to the stage as possible. And so, about 5 or 6 of these people go up, and they take about a minute or two to kind of, greet each other and start talking about what they can and can't play. I'm kind of overhearing it a little bit. And then all of a sudden they just rip into Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix and
nice.
And obliterate it. It was,
wow.
I'm like, this is the kind of talent that's in Nashville. It's like you can just pick 5 random people off the street and they're doing, it was bananas. Like another guy I was with, he's actually in a band, and we're like, we're not going up there. Like I'm a shitty guitar player and a shitty singer, so when I do both of them together, it doesn't sound awful. But he's in a real band, and he's like, I'm definitely not going up there. Like every person that was playing any sort of instrument was A+.
That's awesome.
So yeah, the last thing I want to do is get booed off stage there.
2 questions. Mm-hmm. Kung Fu Saloon.
I could not find it for the life of me. Now, every time I would... Okay, listen. I'm gonna, for my own defense...
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard, but every time I brought it up, I was... severely intoxicated, and I think people couldn't understand what I was saying. Kung Fu Saloon doesn't roll off the tongue when you're severely intoxicated. So we didn't make it that way. Plus, we kind of had a big group, and the person making the decisions for the group is, kind of he's a worldly guy. I'd been to Nashville, and I didn't want to, take the reins from him. He was steering us in the right directions 9 times out of 10. So he was doing a pretty good job. So I did recommend it a few times, but it was later in the evenings, and I was very drunk, and I don't think anybody was necessarily hopping on board with me.
Question 2, White Castle?
No, I know.
You suck.
I know. I didn't come across it. I don't know where it was. We went to some. And again, I was there for work, so a few of these things were catered dinners that we were going to. Lunch. A few of the lunches were catered. So I did go to. The first day we were there, I went to Martin's Barbecue Joint, which was amazing. That was kind of right downtown. The other restaurant we went to that was exceptional was Husk. This is just outside of downtown, and it was like I would call it like gourmet Southern, like fancy Southern, maybe bougie Southern. But yeah, it may have had the best fried chicken I've ever had in my entire life. It was nice. Amazing. It was amazing. So no, unfortunately, I didn't even get my Nashville hot chicken. That literally was the only reason I went there, and never had the opportunity to. So
on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your Nashville ranking?
Oh, 10 out of 10.
I told you, it's
A
awesome.
plus. Yeah, no, it's the best. Like there was nothing bad. Like you feel like there's no, like I went into some pretty sketchy areas. I went touring around. I went to Jack White's studio, / record store, Third Band Records.
Yep.
That was kind of like in a sketchy neighborhood, but even in there, it wasn't you didn't feel unsafe, and everybody was super nice. The Uber drivers, taxi drivers, they were all great. Everybody was just fantastic. Food was amazing. And the music was otherworldly. So yeah, no, it's I told my wife, and we're gonna book a trip to go back there in the springtime.
I told you, I literally went the first time, and then I went back 3 more times in the next 2 years.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense to me. And I mean, for me, it was like a 2-hour flight. It's nothing to get there. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I didn't realize is, when we go to these work things, I think the rooms were booked for us, so we didn't really have to pay for them. So I went to go check to see. I was going to maybe book a couple of nights. It was pretty expensive. I think it was like $600 a night.
Holy cow!
Yeah. It was. They're not fooling around with those hotel prices, and that was kind of like I would say the average. Maybe you could get it for $400 or $500, or you could get it for $700 or $800.
The other times we went, we did Airbnbs.
I think that's what I'll probably do.
Yeah.
But no, it was the best town in the U.S. that I've been to.
Wow, look at that.
I mean, wow. Yeah, that's probably out of maybe 20. I'm trying to think of how many.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty solid. I'd be interested to hear what else people would recommend as the best city in the United States, but that one is...
Tweet us.
Yeah, that one was, in my opinion, the best one so far.
# Chamber in America, one of my favorite things.
And by the way, the food, that was the other thing. So a lot of these conferences, and we're in the similar line of work where we're going to work functions and sales meetings and all that fun stuff. What I did notice during these hotel venue conferences, the food layout, I don't know if it was just us, but during the breaks, there's energy drinks and chocolate bars. I was grabbing shit left, right, and center. I drunkenly ate a Payday bar in my hotel room later.
You got a lot of flack about that.
I thought it was a very good candy bar, not the best, but a very good candy bar. And I got shit on for that one. A lot of haters of Payday. I thought the candy bar was quite good, and I think I had a Butterfinger as well. That wasn't bad. It wasn't as good as a Wonder Bar, but it's good. Good nonetheless.
All right. Should we get into some news?
Yeah, we should.
Let's get into the news. We've had a lot of stuff go on in this past week.
We have.
Where do you want to start?
Let's start with, this is from, I have this one from theblockcrypto.com. Crypto exchanges are experiencing a steady drop in traffic since June, suggesting a declining retail interest.
Just since June?
Yeah, I feel like it's been decline. I didn't say what year, maybe June 2018. Cryptocurrency exchanges around the world have been experiencing a steady drop in traffic since June, suggesting a decline in interest in retail investors. The Block's Larry Cermak analyzed 37 cryptocurrency exchanges and their monthly traffic from April to September. That was the latest data available, and found that traffic had declined roughly about 37%. In September, the analyzed cryptocurrency exchanges cumulatively had a monthly visit of about 1.3 million, while in June that was closer to about 150 million. So topping the traffic chart, obviously Coinbase at the very top, which had the highest number of estimated visitors during the April to September with just under 160 million, followed by Binance at just under 150 million. So the kind of the top ones were Coinbase, Binance, BitMEX, BitThumb. What do we call that one again? I forget. BitHum?
I don't know. You and I differ on that.
Yeah. We'll call it BitThumb for now. Upbit, Bittrex.
You were always on the BitHum train.
Yeah, BitHum makes sense to me because there's not two T's. Bittrex, Indodax. I'm assuming that's Indonesia. Bitfinex, Kraken, Poloniex, and BX Thailand were the exchanges in question during this analysis. So, some of the ones that we like to frequent, your KuCoins weren't on there, so it must have had fairly low traffic. We know the liquidity issues Beaksy's having. That's not on the list there. I'm trying to think what else is missing from that list. They got the usual. There's a couple here I never heard of before, but those are your usual suspects. What are your thoughts on this? Have you been on an exchange lately?
No.
Me neither.
I have not, and so this doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I do my daily / weekly Bitcoin buys, right?
Yep.
So, but I'm doing that through Cash App. So
through Cash App, okay.
Yeah. So I'm not really, Cash App, I guess, sounds like or qualifies as an exchange of sorts, but it's not really, you know what I mean?
So I have a funny story here that kind of lends itself to what we're talking about.
I'll be the judge of that.
It's a story regardless. It's definitely a story. While I was away during one of these drunkenly evenings, one of my coworkers, I forget what we were talking about. We were probably complaining about work of some sort. And, I said, well, I think I'd kind of let it slip that I was just like, well, one day, hopefully, I think I alluded to having something going on in the backgrounds, as a kind of a part-time fun thing to do, which was obviously the podcast. And I let it slip that I had this podcast. And he's like, is it like popular? I said, well, it's not popular. It's okay. We have some listenership, and he said, like, what's it about? And I told him it was like a cryptocurrency podcast, and he looked at me and he's like, just like stunned. He's like, what? How do you have this? And we got into it, and I explained to him that obviously, in the cryptocurrency space, there's a lot of very technical podcasts you can listen to, and we felt the need and kind of give him the origin story of how REKT came to light. With the initial tweet and how fast we had our first interview and so on, and he couldn't stop laughing. He's like, this is fantastic. He was so impressed, and I said, yeah, we wanted a fun one. So your regular people could kind of listen to 70% of it and laugh, and then maybe be lost for the 30% that we talk crypto. And sure enough, he went home like that night. We went back to the hotel, and he texted me at like 2 a.m. He's like, "This is a great show, Chamber," and he obviously knows my real name. And
That's awesome.
So a shout out to B if you're listening. If you made it to, if you've actually subscribed, I told him to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. So if you have, I appreciate it. If you're still listening, if you're not still listening, I don't blame you. So
that's
shout out.
hilarious.
Yeah,
I always get really weirded out telling people about it because, for the same reasons that you.
Right, exactly.
Right?
I don't talk about it very much.
But whenever my like real life friends or anybody find out or listen, I'm like, oh boy.
Well, and he's
my boy that I was just shouted out at the beginning of the show, like he is now an avid listener. Like
that's
literally,
fantastic.
he sends me like screenshots of him listening in his car. So I'm like, all right,
amazing. He's I would say definitely one of my closer work friends. So I felt comfortable, letting him into the chamber world. But the next day, we were talking about Bitcoin some more, and he said, like, I don't really know much about it, and like I've been, I'd heard about it, and basically was asking me for my advice. And I'm like,
have you not listened to 3
I'm
episodes?
probably not the right person. But listen to the advice. You would be impressed. I think the listeners are going to be impressed with the advice that I gave him. And what I told him to do, I said, you want to keep everything simple. It didn't even sound like me talking. So it's gonna blow your ears off. I told him, download Coinbase onto your phone.
Cash App.
We don't have Cash App here in Canada, unfortunately. So you have to go.
Oh, he's a Canadian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fellow Canadian.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I told him just download that, and I said, you don't want to be heavily exposed to it. You want maybe just a little bit of exposure to Bitcoin, cryptocurrency as part of your overall portfolio.
Just to get your juices flowing.
Exactly. And I said, stick to Bitcoin and just do.
Excuse me?
I know, I'm telling you, let's listen to what I'm telling this guy. I said, stick to Bitcoin. I said, do yourself a favor. You can set up Coinbase to take, a payment out every 2 weeks, every month, but just slowly dollar cost average away, get a small Bitcoin position and just stick to Bitcoin. Give it a year and a half, figure out the whole space, figure out the whole, cryptocurrency world. And then, if you want to branch out from there, you'll have a better appreciation. Maybe you dabble in Ethereum or whatever, you go from there. But what about that? What about dollar cost averaging? Stick to Bitcoin. I mean,
the funny thing is, though, if he listens to any more podcasts, it's gonna be very clear that you're a do as I say, not as I do.
100%. Yeah. So Brian, if you're listening, I did not. I think I told him that. I said I told him about. I think I bought 45 bags. He's like, "What's a bag?" I'm like, "You don't need to worry about what bags are." I said, "I'm carrying them all." I said, "You stick to Bitcoin."
Isn't that funny though? That like there's lingo that we use too that like we take for granted, like bags.
Bags, yeah. So what's a bag? I'm like, don't worry about
shit coins and stuff like that.
Exactly. So what about how would you rate my advice? Like, would you add anything? If he may be listening. There's a slim chance he could have made it to this.
I think
episode.
that's good advice.
I think so, right?
Learn about Bitcoin and why it might be important and valuable, and then buy some. That's it.
Exactly. Don't put your entire bonus check on one purchase. You wanna average in, and I thought that was pretty good advice. And I think I even told him at the time, I'm like, I didn't do any of this, by the way.
It's all things that you've learned by doing.
And he was impressed. He was impressed with the fact that we bring on intelligent people to tell us what to do, and he's like, "That's a real smart."
Oh, right, yeah. Go back and listen to like Mark Yesko, and then that makes us look good.
Exactly. So
hey,
I thought that was interesting.
So if the smart people like us, that's really our only job.
Exactly. So that was and I think like later that night somebody had tweeted out, I forget who it was, like but the question was like, when was the last time you explained Bitcoin to somebody or cryptocurrency? And I'm like, I just did. I mean, I was pretty drunk.
Kung Fu Saloon.
Kung Fu Saloon.
Don't listen to Chamber. He's drunk.
Jiu-jitsu bar.
Karate Cafe. God damn it.
It was something along those lines.
That's funny. All right. So I don't have a news story specifically on this, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on it because it happened and it was kind of a big deal. so speaking of exchanges, so this is kind of ties into yours. The BitMEX email leak. Are you familiar?
I am familiar with this.
Thoughts?
Like I
well,
know,
I guess we should
what
say
happened
what
exactly, because I knew.
So it sounds like they basically just accidentally forgot to BCC all their customers. So
right, and it was
all the emails went out
that's
to
what I thought.
everybody, and so your emails were exposed. So if somebody knows your email and is hacking, then they could potentially find out what your password is and test if you have the same password for your BitMEX account. And then if you don't have 2FA, that would potentially leave you open to getting your funds stolen. So that's what happened. Seemed like people thought it was quite a big deal. What do you think?
I mean, that is a big deal. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, I hate it. Like, again, we do a lot of business in the real world. I'm sure you've done it before, where you've put the wrong email address.
All.
Oh, or not even just the reply all. You're sending an email to a group of people. Say, it's 7 or 8 people, and one of them I
had a coworker of mine a couple months ago send me an email that was intended for me, basically bitching about having a hard time with the customer, but accidentally copied the customer.
Oh, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, isn't that just...
and then I immediately sent it back to her. I'm like, did you mean to do this? Please tell me you didn't mean to do this. And she freaked out.
It's upsetting, but so that's basically what they did, but times a billion. You know what I mean?
And where people could potentially lose money off of it.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, do you use you don't use BitMEX much anymore, right?
No, I'm American, so I'm not allowed to.
And right. That's right.
They're pretty good about
like
finding
VPNs and stuff?
out. Like, if you make one little VPN mess up, you're toast.
Really?
So yeah.
But Bitfinex, you're still good, right?
From a VPN standpoint, yeah, they don't really.
But so which one wouldn't you need a VPN for? Like, can you at all?
Technically, I need the VPN for almost all of them. Like,
really?
Beaksy, I don't. But so basically, let's put it this way: any of the leveraged exchanges, I do.
Right.
Because that's what makes them.
Interesting.
Technically illegal for U.S. customers.
I see.
Like Deribit, Bybit, all those technically still can't use them.
Gotcha. I think we're here in Canada. I think I'm good on all of them. No VPN needed.
Speaking of, didn't you guys have another Canadian exchange go down?
Like, I don't even know what these, like, there was what
the fuck? Who would use something called
Einstein Exchange? I don't know. I don't know. It sounds less Canadian than Maple Exchange. That was the last one.
SyrupFactoryExchange.com.
So sorry, Exchange.
SorryExchange.com. .ca. Hashtag SorryExchange.com.ca.
Oh, that's too good. I don't know what these exchanges, and there was a ton of money on a lot of these exchanges too. So I don't know who's using them. I'm pretty dialed in to like what's happening in Canada, and like these exchanges I'm not familiar with.
Interesting.
So, great people, awful exchanges. Canada.
Great tagline. Actually, not to go off topic, but we've kind of missed a couple big things just in real life the last week we haven't been here. So I forgot to ask you how your Halloween was.
Halloween was fantastic. Well, we had torrential downpours.
Same here.
Right up until about 5 p.m. And then
it was raining during trick-or-treating here.
No, so we had a great window, I'd say, between 5 and 9 with no rain.
That brings me to my next question. What time is too late? What time do you have to stop trick-or-treating?
Okay, I have a little beef about this.
Are we on Rant of the Week?
I mean, it's not a rant, but maybe a little bit of a rant.
Can we qualify it as a rant?
Yeah, okay. I'm upset now. Okay, you got me.
We've decided we're going to start doing REKT Rants of the Week because I have found myself being very cranky lately, and looks like I just got one for Chambers. So
yeah.
The REKT Rants of the Week.
Oh, good for you.
I'm a reasonable person, Bunch. Okay, that's if anything else, I am a reasonable person.
I would say you have sound logic and reason. And rationale.
So, you know me, I'm a big Halloween guy. I got lots of decorations.
One of the biggest.
I got lots of decorations up in the front, lots of blow-up things, lots of lights, a lot of shit going on in the front, okay? I tend to pull the plug at about 8:15. I think 8 o'clock is kind of like, okay, the kiddies are done. If
You
your
get the
kids,
late high school stragglers.
right, exactly. That's why I say I give them about 15 minutes after 8. So 8:15 rolls around, I'm done. I got to give the kids, I got to put the kids to bed, blah, 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 blah.
Steal their candy.
Buddy, don't get me started. So much candy I have. So I go out. I think the kids had the bath already, so we're just kind of tidying up and getting ready for bed. So I go outside. I take the lights out of the pumpkins. I unplug all the lights, all the blow up things. Turn the front porch light off. It is pitch black. Okay. So, get the kids ready, get my wife puts the youngest to bed. Typically most evenings I put my oldest to bed, and it's probably now about 9 o'clock, and, all the lights are off. My wife is in my youngest daughter's room. I'm in my oldest daughter's room. And, everybody's just that, right about to fall asleep and singing, I'm singing a song, and sure enough, I'm like, what
time is this?
9 o'clock.
Oof.
Like, what the fuck? Sure enough, these psychopathic looking teenagers are looking to trick or treat. I have a bowl of candy still at the door. And I look at them, I'm like, am I going to lose my mind right now and possibly get murdered? Or am I just going to give them a couple handfuls of candy and send them on their way? And it was the latter. I'm like, hey guys, all right, fuck. And just grab some candy, put them in their bags.
Did you tell them it was too late?
No. I'm not here to ruin anybody's fun. But I just want people to understand when it's too late without me having to tell them. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's unspoken that lights off means go to the next house.
And I mean, it's not like it was lights off and it was like, okay, well, there's pumpkins out, but like no other. Like, you could easily see that there was a big light up display that is now down. You know what I mean? Like, It's not like it's there was a gray area. Yeah, I had a couple of pumpkins still out, but you could see that there was a lot going on here, an hour ago, and now it's dead. So I thought it was pretty obvious. But yeah, so 8:15, and you can fuck off if you show up after that.
I like that. That was a good rant of the week. Don't fucking go to Chambers' house after.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a ton of candy. Oh, the other thing, too, I had tweeted out when I was coming back, one of the most frightening parts of Halloween this year, it's probably, quarter to 8, maybe 8 o'clock. My daughter and I are coming back from trick-or-treating, and I see a group of kids, and, there's yelling and screaming going on. And all I hear is, that house is giving out full-size candy bars. And I look at my daughter like, yeah, let's go get some full-size candy bars. And they're like, I can see them talking. And they're like, which house? And they point. I'm like, they're pointing at my house. I'm like, we're not giving away full-size candy bars. And then you just see like 50 kids run across the street. And I'm like, I'm going to get my house lit on fire. So yeah, nothing happened, fortunately. But yeah, there was kids spreading fake news that I was giving out full-size candy bars.
Wow, interesting,
terrifying.
Interesting. So that happened. The other thing that happened was it was my birthday on Sunday.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm another year older. I am now 33
crankier.
years old. Oh,
cranky. That's my cranky years. That's when it started. 33.
The year of the Lord.
That is the year of the Lord. You either get crucified or you get cranky.
That's it. There's no in between.
No.
That's it.
But yeah, no,
all right. I've sufficiently derailed the show. Let's go back to news here. Let's see. I have one here from our old friends at CCN. It is about Tezos. Tezos skyrockets 50% after Coinbase staking rewards. And what's next? Somebody just rang my doorbell, and my dog.
You got a Doge miner going on in the background there?
Well, somebody just rang my doorbell, and that doesn't usually happen at this time of day. And
I'm definitely going to put a "You Can Ring My Bell" drop in the middle of this right about now.
Oh my God. All right. So what happened here? Tezos went over 50% in, I guess, what people are now calling the beginning of alt season, because I saw some alt season tweets.
I did see some alt season tweets.
And this sudden increase in prices took place after Coinbase announced that it would be offering their staking rewards on this crypto. So I don't know how much you know about Tezos, but I think it's called baking, actually.
It is called baking. I think they're called bakers instead of...
Yeah, you bake your Tezies.
Yeah, it's a
How's that for some lingo, Brian?
Yeah. Are you baking your Tezies yet?
You even bake your Tezies or what?
Yeah. Are you holding any XTZ? No, me neither.
I don't have any. No.
It seems to be a whole scene. There is a contingent.
Yeah, there's a community for sure.
Yeah. So for
those who don't know what staking
from
is,
Coinbase.
I'm not sure. Let's see if it says here. It says staking obviously is the process of holding a certain amount of any crypto in a wallet for an extended period of time to support the functionality of its network. So you're basically locking your coins here, and it's
to help run the network.
Typically in a proof of stake type scenario instead of mining, right? In a move to provide more value to its customers, Coinbase decided they're going to be staking Tezos. That's probably the first crypto that they can stake on Coinbase, right?
I'm positive that's the only one that you can stake on Coinbase.
And it's supposed to be, kind of a simpler way to do it. So the announcement read that the customers only need to buy Tezos on Coinbase or deposit to their account from an external wallet, and they'll start earning the staking rewards immediately.
Brian, if you're listening, scratch everything I said before, buy the top of Tezos and stake the shit out of it.
God damn it.
Do it.
Oh my God. So users have to go through an initial holding period of 35 to 40 days before they can receive their first rewards. After that, they receive their rewards every 3 days, and Coinbase estimates an annual return of approximately 5%. So the market went crazy. Tezos went to a high of $1.43. But specifically on Coinbase, it hit, I think, up to $1.90, which is interesting. And now back to $1.15. So it definitely saw a spike. And somebody's doing some TA on this. Spiked at the top, right around the 61.8% fib line.
Ooh, gotta get that fib line.
Go. How's that? Go learn your fib, Brian.
Yeah.
This is we're titling this episode Brian's episode.
We should, if he is listening, we should maybe, if he gets into it, we'll have him on and see what his thoughts are. We can just roast him with lingo and what not to do.
Yeah, perfect. I like it. Anyway, so that's about it. So you can now bake your Tezies on Coinbase.
That's
Brian.
Fantastic.
Not financial advice.
Definitely the name of the episode is Brian.
Brian's episode. Yeah. BrianExchange.ca.
Yeah. / sorry.
You got one more here?
I do. This guy is near and dear to my heart. Illinois lottery winner. Spends his earnings, or invested half of his earnings in Bitcoin, and was subsequently roasted on Reddit.
This is amazing. Man, this is all things we're telling Brian not to do.
Yeah, don't do what this guy did. So, an Illinois man provides proof of his...
I would probably do this, though.
You know what? And I mean, he did it this year. That's the worst part. An Illinois man provides proof of his 500,000 in lottery winnings, and claims that he put half of them into Bitcoin. So it goes on here. An Illinois man who won the lottery earlier this year has invested half of his winnings into Bitcoin. The man who posted the score via Reddit confirmed on Monday that he purchased roughly 178,000 worth of Bitcoin back in May. Do you have a chart up? I don't have one.
Let me get one. Keep
yeah,
going.
let's find out what the price of Bitcoin was in May. So he spent after taxes, spent roughly, I think he had 357,000 of the 500,000 remaining, and put about 178,000 into Bitcoin. He also challenged readers to remind him in 8 months if the investment was a good one, presumably in relation to the price of Bitcoin. But Reddit had other ideas, of course. Going by the handle Jockson Lol, the man explained that the first had to fork over $143,000 in taxes on a lottery winning.
Yep.
So FYI, in Canada, if you win the lottery, it's tax free.
Fuck off, really?
I mean, we don't have $1 billion Powerballs, but I mean, like we had, we'll consistently get, $150, $200 million jackpots, and you do not have to pay. You do not have to pay any lottery taxes. So yeah, same thing with casino winnings. If you go to any casinos, you don't have to pay taxes on that as well. Any gambling.
May, we're here. May 2019. The monthly open was 5,264, 5,264. The high of the month was 9,100 even.
Okay.
And the low was 5,260, but it closed May at 8,552. So if he's still holding it, he's up.
Yeah, he's definitely up. So I mean, presumably he probably is.
So fuck you, Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit.
Reddit. What do you know?
So in contrast to Jockson Law's forthcoming lottery post,
Wait, how much did he buy?
178,000.
Okay, let's assume he bought it at right around
8?
the open.
Oh yeah, are we saying like that low? 5?
Well, I mean, if he bought it in May, it's somewhere in there. So, all right, let's give him 6,500.
Yeah, let's do 6,500. That sounds good.
Okay, so how much money? 173,000.
Yeah, 178,000.
Okay, divided by 6,500. So it's about 26 Bitcoin. And then let's say he still holds it. Right. What's the current price? 88 something?
No, I think we're at 92, aren't we? Did it drop below 9 today?
Oh, yeah, dude. It's like down $400.
Oh, no. It's been a busy day.
No, it is the current price of Bitcoin.
Oh, shit, you're right. Is like 87.60. What happened?
Yeah, dude.
Brian, buy Bitcoin now.
Brian. Poor Brian is down his whole life savings over the weekend.
Jeez.
Oh, my God. So, what is it, 87?
Yeah, 87.
So, let's say it's 87.50. Minus the 6,500, so he's up 22.50 per Bitcoin at just in our hypothetical situation here times 26.7. He's made another $60,000.
Yeah,
there you go. He's covered half his taxes.
Just put that into Monero and it's tax free.
We'll teach you about that when you're older, Brian.
Yeah. So, I think I would do probably some similar things.
For sure.
Because Brian was like, again, to loop Brian back into this conversation, he was asking me what I kind of thought the long term. I said, well, when I got in, we were at 15 to 20,000 K or $15 to $20,000, and I went in pretty heavy, and dollar cost averaged the way down. I said, so my entry wasn't ideal. I said, but now. We were buying Bitcoin. I was telling him about how it, we got down to that, $4,000 range. And that was a really, really good time, obviously, to pick some up then. But I said, over the next, he asked me kind of what I thought was going to be kind of in that midterm. I threw out the number. I said, smart people. I said, I'm not saying this, but I've heard smart people say this, is that 60,000 to 100,000 is probably not unrealistic for the next bull run. And he's like, what is it at now? I said, it's at $9,500 roughly. And he's like, well, that makes sense. So we'll see where it goes. But what are your thoughts? Are you in that same boat? Are you hearing those same things? Like, like if you won the lottery and you're like, well, shit, if it's at 80,
I would be buying around now. Like, I have no problem. I don't think it's top-ish.
Definitely not top-ish. I think, what's your horizon? What's your time horizon? What do you think, over the next 2 years, where could we hit?
I would say 50. I think.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, and that's conservative based on what other people
And
say.
you're a conservative guy.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the
voice of reason. Yeah, you're the voice of reason.
Yeah. So I can't wait. I have this somewhere that I need to dig up, but we're getting close to revisiting on our end of the year show from last year what we had as our predictions for the end of this year. So we're getting close to that, and I can't wait to whip those out.
What's
I think I'm winning.
Are you?
I think at the current moment, I believe I have the
that does not shock me.
I think I have like an overwhelming lead, right?
I think did I say $1 million? Yeah,
probably. Oh, that's funny. All right, we landing this bird.
Yeah, let's land it.
So that's going to do it for us. Quick and easy. We just wanted to get out something for you. We've been away for a little bit, but we will be back in full force next week with 2 shows, one of which is going to be very entertaining. We have the one and only Mr. and Mrs. John McAfee and Janice McAfee on with us on Monday for Tuesday release. And then do we have someone Wednesday?
We do. We have our good friend Cody from New York that's going to be joining us on Wednesday.
Cody is fun.
Cody is fun.
Hey.
We see you, Cody.
Hey. Did you see that from him, his video of him at CryptoCon? Hey.
He is definitely one of my favorite funny people on CT. So
I'm surprised you think anybody else is funny.
I mean, I know they're not funnier than me or you. I put you and me. And by the way, my ego also has taken over your comedic genius as well. So you and I are at the apex, and then everybody else is just kind of below us as far as comedic talents in the space. So.
I
won't get into. Yeah, exactly.
A humble man, Crypto Chamber is. That's going to do it for us to round out the week. Everybody, enjoy your weekend, and until next time, don't get wrecked, Brian. And that is financial advice.